Gold Derby fans, Denton Davidson and Charles Bright here to talk about the 40th anniversary of the MTV Video Music Awards, which has given us some of the most iconic moments in pop music and pop culture history. We're going to talk back about the most memorable moments, the biggest winners, the biggest losers of all time. And Charlie, you and I sort of grew up in the MTV era, the 80s and the 90s. Would you not agree that that's the height?
Oh, no, no question. I mean, the idea. I mean, the idea that you could just turn on a network and just let popular music, just let whatever popular music was big at the time, just play in front of you, was is foreign to so many people now. But that was the glory of MTV. You would just turn it on and you could probably hear something new, and you would see incredible music videos. Some of them would just be your standard, performer performing their song in a concert setting. But then you get some really, really trippy, creative ones, and that's what I always loved about the MTV Video Music Awards, is that they gave a platform to reward that weirdness.
Yes, like some of my favorite artists, like Prince, who I'm representing today, one of my favorite artists from my hometown of Minneapolis. So we're gonna get into a lot of this. I'm gonna start us with a little bit of trivia. The very first video of the year went to the Cars in 1984 for You Might Think. And you might think I'm crazy when I tell you this beat Thriller by Michael Jackson for Video of the Year, a video that many consider the greatest video of all time. He not only lost Video of the Year that year, he lost Male Video of the Year to David Bowie for China Girl. So he won no MTV Video Music Awards, Michael Jackson. And this video by the Cars, if you watch it in retrospect, it starts off, it's sort of creepy. It's like spyware in this woman's bathtub, and then they're in the bathroom like spying on her throughout. It's a very weird video. It's shocking that this be Thriller for the first video. What are your thoughts?
And the effects are very, and it makes sense that it was nominated because it does have a lot of visually intriguing effects to it, but they are also incredibly of their time, of 1983, 1984. And the idea, and I'll never forget when I first learned that years ago when I was first doing research into the video VMAs, and when you see that Thriller, which despite any issues I might have with Michael Jackson, is universally considered the greatest music video ever made, that it lost to that is incredible. Like, how did that happen?
For someone who the Vanguard, the Lifetime Achievement Award, is named for Michael Jackson, to have never won Video of the Year or Male Video of the Year is just shocking. We both went into this sort of thinking about a video, and we didn't even know the other one was thinking about it, but it was Neil Young's This Note's for You as one of the most controversial, I called it controversial wins, you called it weirdest wins, I believe. I had totally forgotten about this video until I went back and looked at it, and it's actually a mockery of Michael Jackson and Whitney Houston, and them sort of being this on this pedestal and so commercial. And he sings I Don't Sing for Pepsi, which Michael Jackson did. I don't
actually
Coke.
He name drop, Neil Young name drop. He doesn't name drop, I don't believe, Michael Jackson and Whitney Houston, but he does name drop Miller, Bud, Pepsi, and Coke. And this was a resounding, and that's what made the win, because for a portion it was actually MTV pulled the video for a brief moment, I believe, because of the depiction of the infamous Michael Jackson fire incident where his hair caught on fire during the filming of that Pepsi commercial. Back in, I believe it was 1983 or 84.
And they actually show the woman playing Whitney Houston dumping soda over his head to put it out as they pull Whitney's wig off of her head, implying that these are like two fake artists, and and Neil Young is the real deal. He's I'm going to show you.
Yeah.
It's
such a weird winner, because when you also think of, not only was Michael Jackson up against him for Leave Me Alone, the other, and I think probably what most people would say was probably should have won, was Madonna's Like a Prayer, which of course had that infamous, which was another basically middle finger to commercialism when she made that video, and Pepsi said, "We're done." She had that big deal with Pepsi, and Pepsi, after seeing that video, was like, "We're done," and it ended up being one of the biggest videos of the year.
Yeah, it's interesting to look back at what videos won and what sort of stood the test of time when we look back at music video history. So that's interesting. Why don't we kick things off with 5 of our favorite performances from the history of the VMAs. So all of those years, and let's just say we go back with 5 performances each. Okay. I expect our differing musical tastes might lead us on 2 different paths, so that'll make things more interesting.
It's very possible.
My number 5 was "I'm a Slave for You" by Britney Spears, because that was just like my generation of when I was a teenager and she came out with the snake around her neck. I think it was probably her career highlights, and that's just, when I think of MTV Video Music Awards, that's what I think of.
The thing about that performance is that this was the follow-up to because the previous year she had done when she had performed "Satisfaction" by the Rolling Stones. Remember, she did that ripping off of her clothing. That to me was peak Britney Spears, and I remember the hype about the performance the following year, going, "Oh boy, this is going to be the follow-up, what she's going to do." And it was another insane performance that was, peak Britney for that time. But I remember watching that one. And that's a crazy one. And that was also a crazy ceremony, because it was in New York at the Met on September 6th, 2001. Only 5 days later. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Crazy.
What's your number 5?
My number 5, I gotta go with one that's it's very offbeat, but it's one that I weirdly like. It's the Leningrad Cowboys in 1994 performing "Sweet Home Alabama." I found that
I don't remember that. I'm not gonna try to hop in on that.
Huge thing of like Soviet people and like Russian military outfits. They're singing "Sweet Home Alabama." It's insane. It's but it's wonderfully weird. And I was just like, I just love that someone at MTV said, "Let's try this."
All right, that's gonna send me down a YouTube rabbit hole. I'm gonna have to check these out when we finish. Number 4 for me, it's not that it's the best performance, it's that it's so like cringeworthy and bad that I just couldn't get enough of it. So that's why I'm choosing "We Can't Stop" by Miley Cyrus and Robin Thicke, with the foam finger, the twerking. I mean, people couldn't get enough of this. This was Miley desperately trying to get away from Hannah Montana, doing anything she could for attention, all over Robin Thicke, who was married at the time. It was just a total controversy and disaster of a performance. And I loved it.
That awful prison stripe outfit that he was wearing. And I believe that was the thing that for a lot of people, introduced the word twerking into the public lexicon.
It did. Which is interesting.
Yeah. Number 4 for me is an interesting one. It's another one that was when Kiss closed out the ceremony. I believe it was 1996, and that was their big reunion. It was like a big reunion thing for them, and it was just they weren't even in the actual venue. They were below the Brooklyn Bridge and performing "Wanna Rock and Roll All Night." Just, that's pure spectacle, and I absolutely loved it.
I love when the classic rock and roll bands come back and have any sort of reunion or comeback performance on a stage that's meant for these young artists. It's always nice to see the legends return.
Yeah, no question about that.
Number 3 for me was "Like a Virgin" by Madonna, the original and reprise. So in the original, she of course comes out in that white dress and walks down the wedding cake, rolls around the floor.
And that's also at the very first VMAs as well.
Yes. So, and then the reprise, of course, is when she comes out with Britney and Christina, does the infamous kiss. Mary J. Blige can be seen gasping in the audience in disgust.
And of course,
and
they cut right to Justin Timberlake.
yes, and Justin Timberlake. Everyone forgot Christina was there. Poor Christina.
She was so justifiably pissed because right after she kissed Britney, she kissed Christina, but no one was talking about that.
No, nobody cared anymore. So just, I mean, Madonna and all of her Madonna-ness, being Madonna, she just has to be on my list.
And then Missy came in for the end of that performance.
Yeah, I don't remember that either.
Yeah, no one remembers anything after that. For my number three, it's I don't know if I would say if it's the greatest performance of all time, but this was one of the craziest moments of the VMAs that a lot of people don't remember. It was 1998, and everybody, and you might remember the song "Ghetto Superstar" by Praz, featuring Old Dirty Bastard and Maya, and from the movie Bulworth, an underrated satiric masterpiece in my opinion. So Old Dirty Bastard was drunk. He literally comes onto the stage for his section. He already has a beer in his hand, and there's what's notable is the song comes to its conclusion, and you hear Praz counting down 5, 4, 3, and Old Dirty is just wandering around up front where they have these pyrotechnics that they were going to shoot off at the end. It was just going to be like a very quick thing, but still, it was like, and Old Dirty was just wandering in front of them and that's why Praz started counting down. And when Old Dirty wasn't moving, Praz literally grabbed Old Dirty Bastard and pulled him back like 2 seconds before the pyrotechnics went off. It was insane.
I love that. Number 2 for me was Michael Jackson, 1995 medley. It's 15 minutes of hits with him and Slash on the stage. And again, whatever you think of Michael Jackson, for me, he is like the face of MTV, the faces of MTV. It's just, I mean, what he's done for music videos is revolutionized them more than anyone else. So for me, had to have Michael Jackson on this list. And that 1995 medley of him coming back and just going for like a mini concert was one of my favorite performances.
99 for number 2 for me. 99 is first of all, the 99 MTV Video Music Awards are my personal favorite. Because that's where I really fell in love with the aesthetics of award shows, and like in terms of like the way that they marketed it was the last one before the millennium. It happened to be on September 9th, 1999. So they had the whole 9/9/99 thing. It was at the Metropolitan Opera House that year. And I just loved everything about what they did. I loved the nominee video packages. If you can go back and watch those are really, really fun to watch. And one of my favorite videos of all time is nominated for Video of the Year. That's Korn's Freak on a Leash. I will never forget seeing that premiered on Total Request Live, that other MTV staple, and my mouth was on the floor because I could not believe what I had just watched. But that was the year of Lauryn Hill. That was the year of Lauryn Hill and everything, and just her complete takeover of the music and of music and pop culture. And her performance, it was a combination of Lost Ones and Everything is Everything. Just fantastic. Yeah, just amazing. And then she would end up winning Video of the Year in one of my favorite moments, Paul McCartney presenting it. It was her and Madonna. It was him and Madonna, and they're like teasing, like, come on, you gotta want it, you want to know who it is. And then Paul McCartney goes, all right, the world's best video of the year, and you'll never guess who it goes to some guy named Lawrence Hill. There was like a split second of what, and then they cut to Lauryn Hill and they're like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, no, she won.
Go ahead. Okay, number 1 for me is why I'm like all dressed and ready is it's from 1991, Prince, Get Off. And this is Prince, classic Prince, yellow pantsuit, heels, of course, jamming on his guitar. And then he turns around and there's no ass on these pants. I mean, it's assless chaps for everyone to see. And he's just bumping and grinded on the stage in 1991. chaos ensues, of course, with all of the networks, and they're trying to blur things. But to me, that's Prince, the rock star, the pop star, everything he stood for, the sexiness of it all. He's just a genius and one of the greatest artists of all time, and that's my favorite performance.
Absolutely. Before I say my number one, I do want to have an honorable mention for Eminem's 2000 performance of The Real Slim Shady, and what was the song? The Way I Am was the other song that he performed, where he started out outside Radio City Music Hall with what was it, 200 lookalike Eminems, like
all in white t-shirts and
all the white
hair.
t-shirts, the jeans, and the bleached hair, close cropped. And he walks in, and they all walk in with him, and then he makes his way to the stage. That was so incredible to watch. They actually pulled that off. But my personal favorite, and this is a personal thing for me, the Beastie Boys in 1998 performing the combination of 3 MCs and 1 DJ and Intergalactic. I absolutely love that. And, I rewatched that performance recently, and of course it made me, I loved it, brought a smile on my face, reminding me of, watching that and how much I love the Beastie Boys music, but also, missing Adam Yauch, the fact that he has sadly passed away, over 10 years ago. Can't believe it's been that long. But that's one of my all-time favorites. I love the energy of it, them just having so much fun on stage and just seeing them in their prime, just doing what they do best.
Some great choices, and there's so many others. I mean, I was trying to go through the list, and it's just way too much to take in, but people could spend weekends just kind of going down the rabbit hole. Luckily for us, they're all on YouTube, so people can go check all of these or others out. I'm just going to touch on some trivia now that we're kind of moving things along. Most Video of the Year wins of all time. Do you know who this is?
I do know who it is.
Taylor Swift.
It is my arch nemesis.
Taylor, do not say that in front of the Swifties. Taylor Swift has 3.
She might very well have 4 very soon.
He probably will. All Too Well in 2022, You Need to Calm Down, Charlie in 2019, and Bad Blood in 2015. And then the next with 2 awards each were Beyonce, Eminem, Kendrick Lamar, Missy Elliott, and Rihanna. So all very new.
Lamar is technically a featured artist on Bad Blood. I keep forgetting that.
And all of these artists are like post 2000s, so it seems to have been more difficult to win multiple Video of the Year awards in the 80s and 90s, I guess.
Well, I think one of the things that also affected things is that in 2006, MTV switched it up so that it's all the non-tech awards are fan voted now. There used to be a component of fans of regular viewers voting in previous years as well, before that, but now it's just purely fan voted, and I think that definitely alters how things play out with the ceremony. I mean, that's how you get Camila Cabello winning Video of the Year for Havana over the iconic This Is America by Childish Gambino, which is when I remember when that happened, and I wasn't watching the ceremony that year, but when I saw that on Twitter, Camila, they're saying, I was like, no, that can't be right.
The most nominations for Video of the Year are Eminem. It's actually just Eminem with 8, and he's followed by Beyonce with 7, Drake and Taylor Swift with 6, and Bruno Mars and Justin Timberlake with 5. So that's interesting. But there is one older video that made some history. The most wins for a single video is Sledgehammer by Peter Gabriel, and that won 9 awards. 9 awards for that video.
Yeah, it was one of those things, like, it shook the landscape, and it is also and will now, I guess, forever be, considering that MTV doesn't actually play music videos anymore, is the most played video ever on MTV. And it's one that I believe still holds up, and I just it also happens to be my favorite song of all time. But I think that it's a very deserved. It's one that rocked the landscape, very much the same way that Thriller did, and that makes it all the more perplexing that Thriller is not a Video of the Year winner.
Yeah.
And again, there are other things like there have been wins that have irked me, and probably the one that has irked me the most, and this is definitely, for us as awards watchers, we definitely feel this on a way that most lay people don't. But was the Lady Marmalade Video of the Year win really, really pissed me off.
Why?
Because, well, first of all, I think I really do the video that was very favored to win was Fatboy Slim's video for Weapon of Choice. That's the infamous video that has Christopher Walken tap dancing around a hotel, and it's directed by Spike Jonze. It is just like to me, it's like one of the greatest music videos ever. And I loved it so much, and I was so rooting for that to be Video of the Year. But also, when you look at the other nominees, any one of them other than Lady Marmalade would have been more deserving than Lady Marmalade. You had Beautiful Day by U2, Stan by Eminem, which is a haunting music video. That is a chilling music video. All For You by Janet Jackson, and Work It by Missy Elliott. And all of those I think are better. And so the fact that something that just felt so standard one Video of the Year was so I was
had fan voting started circulating in at that point, because you've got three.
Because they had the Viewers' Choice Award at that point. They still had the Viewers' Choice Award at that point.
So that's surprising then, because I would have guessed it with Christina being as popular as she was, and Pink and Maya and Lil' Kim. I mean, it was a popular quattro, but
yeah, it was just one that it just irked me. And then there were ones that irked me in the moment, like that don't bother me now, like Missy Elliott when she won in 2003 for Work It. I was wrong. I said she was nominated for Work It in 2001. She was nominated for Get Your Freak On. I'm sorry, I got that wrong. But she won for Work It in 2003. But that was the year that Johnny Cash was up for Hurt, and like that's, to me, that's just like an incredible piece of art that it just blew me away.
Missy Elliott is one of my favorite of all time, so I'm gonna push back on that, because she's as I said, music artist of all time. That might be in my top 5.
And as I said, I mean that it's also that she at the time, but I fully concede that Work It is a great music video, and it's a completely worthy winner of Video of the Year. I just got a little bummed that I was actually more disappointed that Cash lost male video to Justin Timberlake, because I knew that Missy was winning Video of the Year, but I was like at least Johnny can win this one, because he really wanted to be at the ceremony, but of course his health had took a turn for the worse, and he passed away less than 2 weeks later.
But MTV is not really Johnny Cash's.
I'm surprised it was eligible. Right. That's what I'm surprised.
It's not really something I would have expected Johnny Cash to win an MTV Video Music Award.
True, but I mean, I wouldn't have expected Johnny Cash to basically say goodbye in this poetic visual way, but him and Mark Romanek ended up nailing that.
Well, now they separate videos now based on music genre. Like they're gonna do like a best pop music video or R&B or whatever, however they do it. Hip hop video. They used to do best female video, best male video, and that ended in 2016. So at the time, the most nominations for female music video was Madonna with 12, followed by Beyonce with 10. And the most wins were Beyonce, Madonna, and Taylor Swift with 3 each, followed by Kelly Clarkson, Janet Jackson, and Lady Gaga with 2 each. So that's interesting to have just those numbers for female music video. I'm not surprised that Madonna and Beyonce and Taylor Swift are out front. I mean, that seems sort of par for the course.
Yeah.
Most nominations for a male music video were Eminem with 9, followed by Kanye West with 7. And the most wins is Eminem with 3, followed by Justin Timberlake, Will Smith, Beck, Tom Petty, and Chris Brown, who all have 2. So some of those are sort of surprising. I guess I'm a little surprised to see Beck and Tom Petty in there, just because
but I mean,
but they're worthy.
But I mean, and they were also, and I think a lot of people forget that Tom Petty was of the MTV generation. So
Yeah.
he was, so many of his songs do have corresponding music videos to them. And Beck was just one of the most innovative artists when he was coming out, with Mellow Gold and Odelay. It was just it was just on another level at that point.
And people forget how popular Will Smith's songs were on MTV. Like he just had sort of those catchy, cheesy rap songs, some of them from his movies.
Interestingly, there is one person who actually in the same year won Best Male and Best Female Video. Do you know who that is?
Best Male and Best Female Video?
Yes.
No.
It was Gwen Stefani.
Oh.
In 2001, she won Best Female Video because Eve won Best Female Video for Let Me Blow Your Mind, featuring Gwen Stefani. And Best Male Video went to Moby, featuring Gwen Stefani, for Southside. Wow. So she is a listed winner for Best Female and Best Male Video in 2001.
Okay, Gwen Stefani with some history in there. I would have never guessed that. Someone who's been egregiously snubbed by the MTV Video Music Awards, probably more than anyone I could think of, who has given us such an output of music and music videos, is Mariah Carey. She's never won a single MTV Video Music Award for anything.
It's unbelievable.
It's really,
because you think like of any like accolade that you would think, oh, absolutely, she has a couple of those.
Right. I mean, because her peers are like Madonna, Janet, Whitney, they have all won. And she's up there with them and nothing. It's shocking. Especially when you consider she probably had more output than most of them, especially in the 90s and into the 2000s. So yeah, I would choose her to win the Vanguard Award. I think they've overstepped her so many times that I don't know why they just don't go back and give her the Vanguard Award, because they've already given it to like Nicki Minaj, who's much younger than her, who probably really really pissed Mariah Carey off, especially.
It definitely did.
Nicki Minaj. I think at one point Mariah Carey was even quoted asking like MTV, like, what have I done to thee? She doesn't understand really what's going on with that either, but there's plenty of people who've gotten that Vanguard Award that Mariah probably should have come before.
Someone who I would put on, I will say he's not as iconic level status as Mariah Carey, but someone who has definitely given a lot to the art of music videos, and I believe would also be a worthy recipient of Vanguard, who has never won an MTV Video Music Award, is Busta Rhymes. You think about some of the best hip hop music videos ever made. Put Your Hands Where My Eyes Could See, Give Me Some More. I'll never forget What's It Gonna Be, the one he did with Janet Jackson with all those liquid metal effects. That's such a cool music video. The fact that he's never won is crazy to me. Is absolutely crazy to me, considering all that he's done especially with the art with music videos.
Do you want to talk about our top music videos? Like, what do you think are the top music videos? What's your fifth favorite music video winner of all time?
Of the Video of the Year winners?
Yeah.
Okay. So if I was looking at that, probably my fifth would be 1997's Virtual Insanity by Jamiroquai. That's such a great music video. It's one of those where you still, like, even when you kind of know how they did it, it's still where I love things where you watch it, you just go, how in God's name did you do this? And did you make it look this good? And I think that's a testament to, Jonathan Glazer, who, could possibly very well be in Oscar contention this year for The Zone of Interest. That's one of his best music videos.
I have Nothing Compares to You by Sinead O'Connor, just for the simplicity of it all. Like, it was just sort of revolutionary in its own way for being so simple.
It was powerful.
It was powerful. And I think it was just a cool video, and it worked for the song and just having that close up of her face. So that's one of my top 5.
And it's another one that it's a great video of the year winner. It's an absolutely great one. Number 4 for me is Single Ladies by Beyonce. That is you want just it's simple, but it's also just done in such a way, and the way that it's filmed, the cinematography, the lighting, it just made it so much fun. And when you see that video for the first time, you're just like, this is a moment.
Yeah.
And I adore that video. It's a great video.
My next one is Hey Ya by Outkast, just because I was obsessed with that song. I was obsessed with the double album. I'm obsessed with both of those two, and it was just fun. I love that video.
I was so happy it won Video of the Year. A lot of people were on certain message boards were thinking that it was going to be Jay-Z for 99 Problems. But I was always just like, no, it's going to be Hey Ya. And I'll never forget that Andre 3000 closed the ceremony, and he literally said, "And now for the millionth time, Hey Ya, God damn it!" And he goes into the song. Because at this point, the song had been out for almost a year at that point.
All right, number 3.
Number 3 for me is another Jonathan Dayton, Valerie Ferris video, and that's Tonight Tonight by the Smashing Pumpkins, the 1996 winner. That video is so gorgeous, is so beautiful, and it's a beautiful tribute to the films of George Méliès, and I love everything about that music video. It's so good.
I agree with you, and it's so perfect for the 90s, and that's just the era that I remember. And that was actually going to be my next choice, so I'm going to go with an alternative pick I had, and that's Work It by Missy Elliott, which you slammed earlier, although you did confess that you did later decide it was a good video. But I just love Missy Elliott and what she does for music videos. They're always so bizarre. I don't know if this is her best video. A lot of these people that win Video of the Year, it's not actually for their best video. Like Madonna didn't win like Video of the Year for necessarily her best video. Vogue didn't win best female video, things like that. So I don't know that this is my favorite Missy Elliott video, but I just love Missy Elliott.
Yeah, and it's a great song, and it's a great video. Virginia's Own. Number 2 for me is Waterfalls by TLC.
You're robbing me. I should have got first.
I mean, that to me is it's also, peak 90s in the best way possible. I don't say that in a bad way. I mean it in the best way possible. And it's iconic. It's the effects are incredible, but also like the stories, the little vignette stories that are in there, really powerful, and it makes you almost want to cry by the end of it. It's and I think it's just part of what makes that song so iconic. And I just absolutely, and it's one of those where I get a thrill watching it every single time.
It's colorful. All 3 of them look beautiful. It's my favorite genre of music is really 90s R&B. I mean, 90s R&B was pop music back then. Mm-hmm. It's what everyone was listening to. It's just one of the most iconic songs, and a great video for Video of the Year. It was actually they were the first Black artists to win Video of the Year, 1995, which is pretty incredible. Considering it took that long for someone to break through that way. But I had that at number 1. So we're just going to scratch that this is in any order, and we'll just talk about 5 favorite videos, because my next video, I just kind of reconnected with it recently. I'm like, I forgot how kind of cool this video was. It's like a short film. It's not like the music I necessarily listened to at the time, but I really enjoyed the video, and it's Crying by Aerosmith. It's just classic 90s. Alicia Silverstone is in the video. She's breaking up with guys. she's getting mugged and then kicking guys' asses. And then at the end, she just decides to kill herself and jump off a bridge. But like, surprise, she's attached to a bungee cord and then she's just flipping the guy off. I mean, it's just so cheesy, but it's so 90s. And Alicia Silverstone and Steven Tyler, it's like, how can you get any more 90s than that? So I just think it's a fun video.
It's one of those things where, like what I was talking about with Tom Petty, where Aerosmith first came to prominence in the 70s, but they continued being popular into the MTV era and ended up becoming very much a part of MTV with their music videos. I will never forget not being able to avoid in 1998 the "I Don't Want to Miss a Thing" video.
Oh God. Yeah.
I mean, you could not avoid that music video, and they're very much a part of that. And that
was that TRL video where you come home from school every day and they played the same music every day for like 14 weeks until finally a different video got chosen.
Yep. No, that's exactly it. That's exactly it. All that adjusted was positioning.
Yeah. And it was always like Backstreet Boys and NSYNC in number one.
Yep.
Never your favorite.
Yep. Except for when maybe Limp Bizkit would make it in, and we go, "Oh, that's right."
And that Korn video that you mentioned earlier,
"Freak on a Leash."
"Freak on a Leash," that was very popular on TRL.
That's I remember. As I said, that's where I remember watching the premiere on TRL. And again, that the Jonathan Dayton, Valerie Ferris video, where just my jaw was on the floor. But their videos always do that to me. Even like "Californication" by the Red Hot Chili Peppers, it's a great music video.
So over 40 years of videos, and we have two of the same top five. So what's your other top?
I mean, anybody who knows me, I mean, you heard me say it earlier, and anybody who knows me is this is very anticlimactic, but the Peter Gabriel Sledgehammer video is so much fun. I think it still holds up today. I'm very partial because I love animation. I love stop motion animation, and I just love just the visuals of that. It's a song that's worthy of those kinds of visuals. It's just I love every part of it. I love the song itself. And I cannot not watch it and not smile. It's just one of the greats for me. And I absolutely love it, and I love that it's the biggest winner of all time, because I think it is one of the most technically ambitious music videos that's ever been made.
It is. What are some of the most bizarre things that you've found to happen on the MTV Video Music Awards over the years?
Oh man,
I'm thinking MJ and Lisa Marie's kiss.
Oh, the kiss, the kiss, which
just to prove all the haters wrong, and it was just turned out so awkward and cringy.
And, oh God, the look on her face, like this was, oh my God, she was so uncomfortable with the whole thing. Yeah. And my favorite thing was, I believe either the next year or later in the ceremony, Madonna came out to present Video of the Year. They said, "Ladies and gentlemen, Madonna," and Madonna was escorted out by David Letterman, who she had made headlines with because she had cursed up a storm on his show like just a couple weeks prior or something. And I think it was Letterman who said, "And no one thought it would last." And then he just walked off and then let her do the rest of the thing. It was great. There are incredible moments. One that I always think of is in 1991, Pee Wee Herman, Paul Rubens as Pee Wee Herman, opened the ceremony. This was just 2 months after the infamous arrest at the adult movie theater in Florida that had resulted in his show was already not coming back for another season, but they pulled all the reruns, all the merchandise was pulled off the shelves of Toys R Us, and it was so shocking, and it was to see him come back out as that character and open the ceremony with the line, "Heard any good jokes lately?" was a great moment, and it was wonderful not only to see Pee Wee, but to also hear an audience cheering for him. that was something that was absolutely incredible.
Yeah, I loved Pee-wee.
You know, there are other ones. I always think I actually got to interview recently a person who had directed several of the VMA ceremonies, Joel Gallen. And he told me one of the craziest experiences he ever had in directing live television was during, I guess it was the 92 or 93 ceremony, where Nirvana was playing, and Nirvana had wanted to play something else, but they eventually said it on Lithium, which was their big song at the moment. Nirvana is introduced at the telecast, and they start playing the chords, and they start playing the song "Rape Me," to which the entire control room goes, "What are they doing?" And they all started panicking for, I want to say, like 15 to 30 seconds. They were playing that, and then they went into Lithium, much to the relief of everybody in that control room. What was also funny about that performance, though, is at the end of it, Chris Novoselic, the bassist of Nirvana, decided to do a really rock and roll thing and throw his guitar up in the air and catch it. And so he throws it up in the air, and you see him like trying to align it, and then it hits him right in the forehead.
I do remember that. I do remember that part.
Another one of there are some other ones. Another one that I'll never forget is this didn't happen during the ceremony. This happened during the pre-show in 1995. Kurt Loder was interviewing Madonna.
Yes, and I love this one. I already know where you're going.
And out of nowhere, while he's asking her about some random stuff, stuff starts flying over, because they're on this platform above the street outside of Radio City Music Hall, and all of a sudden this stuff starts flying up, and Madonna and Kurt are just going, "What the hell's going on?" And my favorite moment, Kurt just looks over to the side and goes, "Hi, Courtney," and it's Courtney Love, who was wrecked. Absolutely wrecked. And
of course she was.
Kurt says, and you can hear Kurt going, "Should we bring her up?" And you can't hear in his earpiece the producers going, "Get her up there, get her up there, get her up there." But Madonna, you hear her go, "Can we not?"
The other best part of that is, like, I think there's a point where Madonna says something like, "I guess Courtney Love needs attention," or something.
Yes, no, that is exactly what she said. That's
just exactly so rich coming from Madonna, of all people. Yes. That was a great moment. Just those two, they should have made a movie.
Oh my God.
There's still time. There's still time.
And then nothing like really crazy. It was just because Courtney was drunk, and Madonna just did not want to have anything to do with this.
And they probably just didn't even, I don't know if they knew each other.
I don't think they did.
Probably didn't.
Yeah, I don't think they did. Who can forget Diana Ross touching Lil' Kim's pasty boobie, because she was wearing that. For those who don't remember, Lil' Kim was wearing this dress where her breast was exposed. It just had a little pasty on it. And I remember one of the people at the pre-show when they were interviewing her during the pre-show, said, "I thought Mayor Giuliani outlawed outfits like this." And Diana Ross comes out to present Best Hip Hop Video, and she sees Lil' Kim, and she boop boop boop.
I can't believe America's mayor would criticize an outfit like that. But yeah, that would definitely be a Me Too moment in this. I think, didn't Lil' Kim sort of come out recently and say she was sort of upset at Diana Ross for doing that? I think I read something at one point where she said she was a little bothered by this.
I can't remember. I know she's been very adamant that was not planned. It was not something that was expected. Wouldn't surprise me if that was a bit uncomfortable for her. But then again, it's just Diana being Diana.
It's Diana Ross. You never know what you're going to get with some of these legends.
And then there's one other. I know. Are there any others you wanted to mention before I mention another one?
Oh, that's fine. You just go ahead.
The other one that I'll never forget is in 2000. Tim Comerford, the bassist for Rage Against the Machine, disrupting the ceremony by climbing up on the scaffolding set and rocking it around because they lost Best Rock Video to Limp Bizkit. They absolutely hated that. They thought they were going to win, but then they looked and they saw that there was a camera crew over where Limp Bizkit was sitting, and they were like, "Oh crap, they're going to win." And one of them said, and one of them was, and the Rage was sitting with the director of their music video, who was none other than Michael Moore. Tim said, he said, I wish there was something I could do. I wish there was something we could do. I should rush. I really want to just like rush the stage and just disrupt this whole thing. And the other band members were not in favor of that. Michael Moore said, "Got to follow your heart, man." And so as Limp Bizkit is making their way up on stage, he just rushes and just climbs the scaffolding set and is rocking it back and forth. People in the crowd are yelling, "Jump." They had to stop the ceremony for like 10 minutes.
Yeah, I remember that one.
And they were trying to talk him down because they were nervous that he was going to collapse the whole set. Eventually he was brought down and promptly arrested by the NYPD.
Was Lady Gaga's meat dress at one of these, or was that the movie awards?
That was the VMAs. That was the
VMAs, because Lady Gaga had some interesting performances that, like, she didn't make either of our cuts, but these were back in the days where she was really more desperate for attention too. I mean, she was this was
that paparazzi performances. I remember that one.
Yeah, where it's definitely, she's someone who has evolved and has changed her style and the way that she grabs headlines now. But she used to be very out there, much more so than she is now.
Yeah, and I remember that with like the fake blood and everything during the paparazzi performance. And then the following year, when she won Video of the Year, and that meat dress was just ridiculous.
And just plugging some extra things for this upcoming VMAs, Shakira is going to win the Vanguard Award. They recently announced P. Diddy would receive the Global Icon Award. This award is very weird to me. It's been presented in the past to Queen, Whitney Houston, Eminem, Duran Duran, Janet Jackson, Foo Fighters, and the Red Hot Chili Peppers. It seems like they just sort of draw names out of a hat for this.
It is kind of weird that Red Hot Chili Peppers, because the Chili Peppers also received the Vanguard as well.
Right.
Yeah,
it's very random. And
how long have they been giving that award out?
I think they just do it randomly. It used to be handed out at random at the MTV Video Europe Awards. And then since 2021, it's been in the American ceremony. So it's very odd. I don't know. But P. Diddy's getting it this year. I mean, that's fine, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, it's the weird thing about it is that other than the Video of the Year award, none of the other categories, at least the main categories, have the word video in them. It's just best R&B, it's best hip hop, it's
Song of the Year kind of irks me. Like, that sort of pisses me off. Like, what does Song of the Year have to do with anything to do with the video? Like, I get that you sure, like a good song in a video is nice, but like, these are the Video Music Awards. It's not the Grammys. We don't have to copy every single other award show.
They made it's an award show where the people who started it specifically put the word video in front of music because they wanted to accentuate that. Yeah. And it makes no sense whatsoever. And I miss certain categories. Like, I miss the Breakthrough Video Award. That was where you got some fun videos. It just as nominees, and I really miss that. And that's where you would find Fatboy Slim's Praise You video winning that.
And it wasn't Best New Artist. It was like a way to make a breakthrough within the music video
in terms of the artistic,
art form.
yeah. And you would also have Bjork's "All Is Full of Love" video, which is still an
Bjork's
incredible,
one of the best music video artists of all time.
no question about
Yeah.
that. But then you also had also you would have like nominees like "Rabbit in Your Headlight" by Uncle featuring Tom York, which is quite disturbing music video of this guy roaming through a tunnel in London and getting repeatedly hit by cars.
Yeah.
It's another Jonathan Glazer music video.
One of them, when I was looking back over the video, the year winners, one of the most disturbing, if we want to go down that road for me, was Jeremy by Pearl Jam.
Oh yeah.
There's a warning for that video before you watch it on YouTube. Like you have to click an extra button, because that is sort of predating school shootings, like a weird sort of precursor
and the thing is that was
nightmare.
yeah, and the thing is that was inspired by something that had actually happened, of a kid who shot himself in his class in elementary school. And it was, and if I remember correctly, I was a bit too young for that at the time, but if I remember, that caused quite a stir.
Yeah.
When that video came out, period. But it is also, I think it is something that's it's one of those great combos of recognizing the art, but also, Pearl Jam being so quintessentially 90s and being such a major part of music in the 90s.
Oh, they were so huge when I was growing up. Like in my area and the high school I went to, so many people were such huge Pearl Jam fans. Pearl Jam, Dave Matthews Band back in the day.
Dave Matthews Band got a lot of it. Yeah, and meanwhile, like, I came in a bit late to the train to Radiohead, and another band that had a lot of great music videos, never won a VMA, Garbage.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I used Shirley Manson to hide my homosexuality for years.
Well, that's a good choice. Do you have any final words before we wrap things up here?
We do have a longing for what they used to be, but things will always evolve. Maybe things will evolve back at some point. And you never know what's going to happen. We very well might see Taylor Swift win her 4th Video of the Year trophy. It's going to be interesting, and we'll just wait and see what happens, and hopefully there'll be some fun moments.
Yeah, I mean, it's Taylor Swift's moment. Records are made to be broken. If it's Taylor
Haven't
Swift,
they been saying that for like 5 years now?
yeah. So I mean, let Taylor Swift have her moment. Let her please the Swifties or the Beehive or whoever's winning. More power to you. I don't like fighting with people about like who's the greatest of all time. It's just it's a conversation that never ends for anyone. So everyone just love who you love, pick your favorites, and enjoy them for what they are. And listen, the MTV Video Music Awards are on Tuesday, September 12th. Maybe some more iconic performances will break out with these fresh faces. Shakira gets the Vanguard Award. It should be a fun night, and everyone watching, go make your predictions now over in our prediction center. The winner gets $100, and you get a chance to join our leaderboards. So we'll see you Tuesday.